Welcome to Princess Sateena of Africa's University Institution of Art, Nature and Science, the study of world problematic institutions and its reforms. Today, the topic will be nature and science. One of the factors about nature and science is that nature and science are a confluence. You cannot divide a confluence where two waters meet together and flow in one river. There's no way you can divide that. But our society in the modern age we live in today has divided science and nature. Science is now the leading technology on earth. We have forgotten about nature. We have forgotten about the times where we had miracles performed and natural healings performed. We have forgotten about all that. That is because science is now the leading factor, which shouldn't be the case. Science and nature should go hand in hand. When science and nature goes hand in hand, we will be able to tackle challenging and pressing issues that surrounds us as a united nation. Seeking solutions to problems affecting the human race. When we date back to the time of Adam and Eve, you would find out that God, the scriptures, the holy scriptures, talks about the creation of man. When man was created, he was created out of clay, sand. Okay. And this forum is attached to climate. So when the human species suffers, the earth retaliates. As a professor and a researcher in Princess Sateena of Africa's University Institution of Art, Nature and Science, the study of world problematic institutions and its reforms, we have found that the most affected species in the world is the human species. We have been victimized. We are now victims. And we are now in a very critical era where we are losing touch with our human feelings, and the human race is struggling and suffering from dictatorship. So we have leaders who are dictators. We have leaders who are radicalized ideologists who perform certain types of performance in a society, in their catchments, in their countries, that affects the mass population. But yet we have the highest criminal court of justice that should be dealing with humanitarian crisis, that should be preventing abuse of power, that should be preventing things like that unfolding. They sit and are vulnerable to the fact that their hands are tied and they are not able to execute. Why? Because our systems are failing to. Our systems are outdated. They need a very swift reform. Some systems need some systems that are in place, they need to be scrapped and new legislations introduced. So when we're able to do that, we will then be able to unlock the pressing issues that seeks our immediate attention. For example, I will mention but few. One, immigration. We have a high volume of displacements in the world just now. Secondly, we have a high volume of natural disasters. So, referring to the first explanation I explained, was that the human race was made from sand, clay. That is what the scriptures teaches. But science also teaches that human beings just evolved on earth. But if you look at science and nature, they go hand in hand. But right now, science is at the top and nature is down the bottom. So how are we going to have an even answer to the pressing problems that we are facing in the society that we live in today, when nature is what holds the earth? Nature is what builds us as human beings. Nature is what takes place, not science. Science innovates, but nature takes its course. That is why we also have scientists craving and trying to find the cure for death. That is because the human mind goes to sleep. And then you get detached. And then you lose your breath. And then you're pronounced dead. Pardon me. You're pronounced dead. So how do you solve that as a scientist who is craving so hard to find the cure for that? Our research has shown that finding the cure for that in a scientific analysis is finding the cure for aging. When we find the cure for aging, we are then able to find the cure for death. But then the only way to do that is to make sure that we are able to tackle all these pressing issues that surrounds us in the universe and letting nature take its course. So we will then have different analysis outlined out there for us to work in the lab and finding pressing issues like cure for cancer, cure for HIV, cure for dementia, cure for different diseases around the world. By understanding the earth, the natural reserves, studying the natural reserves, and using science to innovate nature, not nature being at the down bottom and then science being at the top. In the century that we live in now, we need to flip the tables around. Nature has to take its course, while science sits at the bottom, at the root, to support nature at the top. Science has been modernized. Technology has risen. We're all connected through technology. But nature has been forgotten. Nature needs to be nurtured back into science. This is a study that we found that we are losing touch with reality because we're all tied up in technology. We're losing nature with reality. That is the reason why we cannot be realistic in the political sector and in our courts. We're not able to arrest an individual who poses a threat to the mass. That is because we're failing in nature. And science is now the forefront of everything. Technology has taken over while we lose touch with nature. So tackling those issues, putting nature at the forefront, and then letting science push nature at the forefront, then we will then have nature taking course and science documenting nature taking its course, just like we have found in the study as well in Princess Sateena of Africa's University Institution of Art, Nature and Science, the study of world problematic institutions and its reforms. I will get back to that topic later on. So, given the fact that we have researched quite a lot in this university, we have different columns that we will be able to discuss and find solutions. This university is open for professors, generals, entrepreneurs, business owners, barristers, professors. That is because this university encourages change, not just study. It encourages you to unlock your potentials in the society and help you thrive in your fields of study. This university unlocks your powers, unlocks your abilities, and unlocks your potentials in a massive way. That is the reason why it is a very high institution. And it is an institution that deals with complicated institutions and its reforms. As individuals, as leaders, we all want to thrive. We are all looking for solutions to pressing problems. This university gives solutions. It gives answers to pressing matters. It gives objectives. It gives purpose. And it gives outcomes and results. So by studying in this university and having a one-on-one class with Dr. Professor General, myself, you will be able to unlock pressing issues, pressing matters that surrounds us in the universe. I, as an individual, I am very passionate about the planet. Not the planet, not just the planet, but the human race. Because I put myself in everyone's shoes to feel their pain, to understand where they stand. I wouldn't want to see me suffer. Neither do I want to see another person suffer. So if we learn to put ourselves in other people's shoes, probably we will take one step back and think as human species, as human beings. We will take a step back and think about matters, think about things, think things through. In doing that, we will be able to do the right thing at the right time. Alignments, please. This university has structured a platform that would take companies multi-billion dollar companies, multi-billion pounds companies, it will take them almost 50 years to draft. This university has drafted that down within how many years? 16, within 10 years. So what this platform does is to eliminate and educate a mass population. This system is drafted in a way that it influences and also changes minds and also helps with tackling pressing issues that surrounds us as a universe. So, one of the key issues that we pointed out that we need to look into in one of the classes I held was looking into the 7 continents. We talked about how the policies are being outdated and they need to be scrapped and new legislations introduced. By doing this, it does balance the generation we're in. Scientists are the ones that tells the age that we're in. As a scientist, a natural scientist, I can tell that the age we're in, we live in the ancient age. Pardon me, I would rectify that now. We live in a generation where we have policies that have been formed hundreds and thousands and hundreds and thousands of years ago. We need to scrap them all. We need to scrap them all and introduce what is able to accommodate the floor in which we have matters not being tackled. So our policies are failing. So we need to scrap them, introduce new policies that are able to align with the generation that we are in just now. Because you do not expect a policy that was used 1,000 years ago work after 2,000 years. That is why we need innovators, we need inventors and investors. When we're able to do this, we will be able to finance and have everything aligned. So by doing this, we will be able to tackle the pressing issues that surrounds us in the world, especially the human species. The human species suffers more than any species in the world. Even animals do not struggle like the way the human race struggles. Animals do not struggle like the way human race struggles in the age we live in today. And our research has shown by 2080, if things are not being tackled right now, we will be grooming leaders that would perform dangerously in their lines of duties based on the examples our leaders are setting right now. So in order to evict that, we have created a platform where we would have the leaders of the 21st century. This age ranges from 40 and above. 40 and above wouldn't be taking political offices. They would be taking offices that would be contracting, financing, innovating, investing. And our youngsters, our younger generation will be taking political offices from the age of 20s, 30s. When they get to the ages where they will be investors, innovators, and they will perform better. So this is a system that is being drafted and analyzed in the University of Princess Sateena of Africa's University Institution of Art, Nature and Science, the study of world problematic institutions and its reforms. So analyzing this and understanding this forum will help us navigate through the 22nd century. We will be able to draft and leave a peaceful world behind. We also have the class for 101, finding the cures for diseases. So that is quite promising too. So we will leave a peaceful world behind for the younger generation to come. By doing this, we will be held responsible. That is why the system has introduced one African passport, a diplomatic passport. Let's not talk about colonization, because I feel as though colonization was a beautiful thing. That is why we have an era of recolonization abroad. Because colonization is a beautiful thing. When you colonize, you educate, you liberate, you guide, you protect. But sometimes you get complications, which is normal. But the ultimate goal is to make sure that you liberate, execute, enforce results. That is the reason why we have the African Union. We also now have the African Union Assembly Grounds, AUAHRH. We will be operating as continents. We will have each country have a president or a prime minister, but we will have the president of the continents, all 7 continents. We will have each continent have a president of its own that would answer to the highest criminal court of justice and will be responsible for anything that happens in that continent and will hold leaders accountable for anything that goes on in that continent. That leader would have the power to execute. That leader would have the power to assemble the leader to the highest criminal court of justice. So as we travel in a critical era, our study have found that, as we spoke about in our previous class, We know that the crown, it's a godly crown. The crown is aligned to the world. The vision behind the crown is a beautiful vision. The powers behind the crown is a very powerful deity. Aside from that, the leaders behind that crown holds the keys to unlocking the pressing issues that surrounds us in the universe. The sooner we're able to understand and accept change in the modern age we're in today, the better for us to be able to tackle these pressing issues. Don't forget, science and technology is the leading nation's executive, but nature is literally at the top. When we understand that, we will know what steps to take and what steps not to take. So let's use our platforms, manage our duties, enroll in your catchments, align yourselves to your catchments. First and foremost, we have 7 continents in the world. We have one leader leading all 7 continents already. And we have one continent in a critical era, the Arab nations. I will view it as a continent. It falls under a continent. We have the Arab nations fallen. We need to sit down and make peace talks. Let us finance. I am the greatest mathematician in the world. Not to sit down and calculate and count, but to sit down and help you with finance. That is why we have created the most expensive currency in the world, called 1,000 African pounds. We will also have 1,000 African dollars. We will also have 1,000 African euros. We will also have 1,000 African Indianas. We will also have 1,000 African Arabians. This is to help you rebuild all those countries that has fallen under your watch. Finance, easy finance. All you have to do is print and trade. That is why we are the leading nation's executives. We will be creating more businesses by 2030. The president of DTR company is a dedicated, enthusiastic woman who is behind the growth and success of DTR company. With women like her in such an outstanding organization fighting in the cause of humanity, that will lead to bringing change and growth within people, religious groups, cultures, and the world at large. The president and owner of the company in question is His Royal Highness Prince Henry Charles Albert David of Wales. I'm only his private secretary. Thank you. Heading back to our discussion. We will have all continents operate and operate effectively. That way, we operate under God's zone G. We are all operating under God's zone. We are going to tackle climate. We're going to study the land, the sea. We're going to be reassured that we wouldn't have natural disasters anymore. We would make sure that we see natural disasters as history. We will study them in our universities as history. And our younger generation will wonder and ponder, how did this happen? How on earth did this happen? That is because we will evict all natural disasters in the long run. This is a vision for 2050, where we will study the land and sea and know that we will have natural disasters no more. And the first step, the very first step in achieving that is rebuilding the Middle East, making peace talks, stopping the war, ending the suffering of children, mothers, parents, men and women, boys and girls, aunties, uncles, grandparents, niece, nephews. So we have to be very, very, very vigilant in whatever we do, especially the highest criminal court of justice. We have to be vigilant. We cannot sit and keep our arms folded and let technology take over. We need to let nature take over. Let nature take its course. I can't have my head round the fact that our highest criminal court sits in the middle of all this happening, yet no arrests are being made. No, even if there are sanctions that have been thrown, but we need enforcement. We need action. We need to show example to the younger generation. So we need action. We cannot sit in our courts and pass out legislations and not being able to enforce them. That is why we talked about our systems failing. We need to update them, scrap the old ones, and introduce new legislations. Every leader of a continent, 7 continents of the world, will hold a diplomatic passport, one African passport. This African passport is a protection for us to be able to connect with nature and walk with science. Don't linger around about the fact that it is called an African passport. Africa is also a continent. Africa is a wealthy continent. Don't forget that you as Europeans, you as Americans, you as British people, you have colonized, you as French people, you have colonized the African people. If today you have issues in your home countries and we come to help the world to thrive, to give justice to whom it's due, do not turn your backs. You taught us to thrive. You taught us to thrive. That is what we're doing. So do not turn your backs because it is called 1,000 African pounds, or it is called one African passport, a diplomatic passport that arrests leaders. Do not turn your backs. Embrace the change. Embrace it. And watch your outcomes. Politics is a very dangerous game. I do not like politics, When I was young, I'll tell you a story. When I was young, I always said I wanted to be the president of my country. You know why? Because I wanted to drive change. As I grew older, I didn't realize that, oh, wait a minute. Am I actually making the right decisions here? So if I become the president, everyone's eyes on me. I am bound to make mistakes. I am bound to make good things come through. But will I be able to drive the change I want to drive as a leader? Where are my true leaders? Leaders who want to drive change, where are they? Anyone at all? Politics is not for you. I'm talking to our politicians who are in their mid 50s. Politics is not for you. Look into other sectors, rebuilding nations that have fallen under your watch, ending poverty, suffering in the world, giving justice to human species, ending displacement, helping families settle back in their home countries peacefully, compensate them, because that is what Britain is known for, compensation. So let's compensate families. Let us print out the most expensive currency in the world and use it because it is a protected currency. This currency deals with mass population. It's a protected diaspora. Only I, Princess Sateena of Africa, and His Royal Highness Prince Henry Charles Albert David of Wales can unlock this currency and passport. We have been walking around this since 2016. Why? Because His Royal Highness is tired of seeing the inborn injustices that happens around us. That is why we have him in court challenging technology, phone hacking, and what else? Fake news. Let's get back to our drawing boards, everyone. Understand your positions in the society. Understand why you are being placed in a place. When you understand that, seek guidance. For those of you who believe in God, believe in God. For those of you who believe in science, believe in science. For those of you who don't believe in anything, believe in love, in your faith. And the last thing I'm going to say is that love one another. Love one another. Why? Because we are all human. We breathe the same oxygen. We feel the same way. We are all one family divided mentally. The color of our skin, our cultures, backgrounds shouldn't define who we are. We are one family divided mentally. Religion shouldn't be a barrier. Let us teach that in our schools rather than using religion to divide us. Let us use religion to promote love, tolerance. I repeat, tolerance. Tolerate one another. That is why we have the Middle East almost wiped out. Lack of tolerance. Embrace your cultures. The Arab culture is a beautiful culture. We say no to terrorism, to radicalization. We say no to all of that. Let us rebuild the Arab nation again for the sake of those young children who know nothing about what is happening in the age we live in today. When you look at social media, all the propaganda that surrounds social media, you would find out that it is so sad. Where we have to see videos of so many young children lining up, fighting for a plate of food. Where has our humanity gone to? Yet, we are able to broadcast that in our news. What kind of a generation are we grooming? We have to be very careful. Very careful. 2080 is round by the corner. The days are going fast. The nights are getting longer. The days are getting longer. Depending on the mood of the shared icon of the world. He sits enthroned. When the human species suffers, the world, the earth, struggles. When we're able to understand that, we will hold an emergency and align everything and walk hand in hand and make peace talks. I will end my case by thanking every one of you for listening. I look forward to working with scientists and historians. Those are my favorite subjects, science and history. I love science and I love history. I love government too. I love religious studies. I will be exhaling and helping scientists find pressing matters, solutions to pressing matters, historians uncovering hidden secrecies, religious leaders finding their grounds to educate the younger generations to be tolerant against each other. We will see a generation thrive. We will see a generation thrive if we're able to adapt as swiftly and quickly as possible. We are in a very dangerous era. As soon as we're able to understand that the era we're in is a very dangerous era, we will move quickly, fast, and quickly. The government who were in power in 2016, I salute you all. as a general. Let us get our boots down and fix the problems. Thank you very much, General Diallo, Human Rights Consultant, General Consultant, Princess Sateena of Africa. Thank you. God bless you all. Those of you who believe in science, may science bless you. Those of you who believe in deities, may the deities bless you. Those of you who believe in God, may God bless you. And I bless the house.